I've always depended on the kindness of strangers. Tennessee Williams. What are the odds of finding yourself dead on the side of the road and having one doctor, 2 nurses, and 3 firemen ready to jolt you back to life within a matter of minutes? If you saw it in a movie, you'd scoff at how improbable it was, saying these sorts of things never happen in real life. Only it did this time. It happened to me. Really, what are the odds of suddenly being struck with a condition which in the best of circumstances has less than a 2% survival rate? On the side of the road, many miles to the nearest hospital, it's basically a lost cause. Well, not quite. The odds are more like 1 in several million. That may sound like bad odds to some of you, but it sounds just fine to me. See, when you happen to be 1 in several million, you start to feel pretty good about improbable odds. But you also realize that only a force greater than man can beat those odds. It is very humbling to be the recipient of heroic actions from superb professionals who risk their own safety to help me. But it is also very humbling to be the recipient of what I consider to be a miracle from God. God didn't do it halfway either. I didn't just get some help. I got the best possible help around me when I needed it the most. Starting with my beautiful wife, Janie, whose reaction to my dropping dead in front of her was remarkable. She immediately took initial steps that prevented catastrophe that led to the mustering the considerable resources now present in this room. There she was, sitting on the passenger seat and glancing over to find me with my head back, my mouth wide open, and dead fish eyes looking straight up. She had the presence of mind to put the car in park and dial 911. Realizing there was no time to waste, however, she stepped out of the car and started frantically waving her arms to attract the help I needed. And did I ever get help? Soon a woman darting through traffic approached her on foot and said, "I am an emergency room nurse. How can I help?"
I noticed that there was a BMW that was having it, the engine was revving. I looked over and there was a woman getting out of the car waving her arms, and I pulled off immediately to the side of the road because I could see a man kind of over the steering wheel. I ran across the road, don't know really how I got there, but I pulled Tony out of the car and he was not breathing and no pulse, and I started CPR immediately on him.
Janie told her I had a heart attack, even though we now know it was not a heart attack. So the nurse named Colleen sprang into action. "We need to get him out of the car," she said. After dragging me out, which was a feat unto itself, she performed hands-only CPR. Even though I looked as blue as a Smurf, in her words, Colleen never gave up on me, even though she knew the odds all too well. And neither did the next 2 people who showed up. An emergency room doctor and an emergency room nurse we now know as Alan and Erica.
When I got there, Alan, had kind of moved Colleen back, was going to try to grab him and finish pulling Tony out of the vehicle.
Eric and I and Colleen put him back onto the side of the road, and we were doing CPR, and fortunately there was a couple of firefighters that had a automatic external defibrillator that they brought over, and we were able to hook that up to Tony, and in the course of doing CPR and ventilations and compressions, we delivered 3 shocks.
I remember he was almost wanting to fight, and we kind of reoriented him.
And after the 3rd shock, we were able to get him to stay aroused, and we turned him onto his right side, and he started to wake up.
And then they had said that a helicopter was coming because of the traffic, so they were going to load him and take him right up there on the right to this building to load him in the helicopter at the parking lot.
So we stayed around for a while, make sure he was okay, until the helicopter crew got there and they were able to fly him back to Charleston. Because of the time from when his downtime was so short, that we were able to deliver CPR to him so effectively early on that by getting his heart restarted, he was able to recover very quickly.
We don't know for sure how a policeman got involved, but we know a policeman drove the half-mile up the road to the fire truck, which still hadn't left the scene of the previous accident. Imagine the opportunity for confusion by the firemen knowing the wreck victims were transported by ambulance minutes earlier. What? You're telling me there's a cardiac arrest unrelated to the accident? They must have been thinking. But they reacted immediately anyway. Mike, Hans, and Pete of the Owendall Fire Department quickly brought a defibrillator and oxygen down to where I lay on the ground, still receiving CPR from Alan and Erica.
We worked on the first accident, and then we got some cars were flashing their lights, and people were waving at us, and we thought, okay, what are they doing? We thought they were just getting upset because we were blocking the road.
So we asked what it was, and they said that we think someone's having a heart attack.
We were clearing up from the first call, so we were able to get in the fire engine and go down, and investigate, see what was going on. And when we got there, Mr. Skatell was having a full arrest.
There was a couple other folks there that were trying to help him at the time. Obviously we're a fire truck, so we had a defibrillator and oxygen and more medical equipment than those folks had. And we were able to get him hooked up onto the defibrillator and deliver a couple of shocks. It was odd because he kept actually coming to consciousness, which is, I've been in this business 16 years and I've never seen that where someone came back. You always see it in the movies, but it's not a common thing.
By the time I got the first shock, Colleen's husband Juan and others on the scene estimated 12 minutes had passed since my cardiac arrest. A lost cause in most people's mind, several minutes longer than the crucial time for administering shock to sufferers of VFib, or better known as sudden death.
The doctors came in, the nurses came in, and it was pretty incredible. I get kind of goosebumps when I think about it. When I see him, he was dead. He was dead, and I say to myself, I think I just watched a person die right in front of me.
By the time the helicopter arrived on the scene to take me to MUSC, I was already back. Yes, completely back. The University Medical Unit was outstanding at the hospital and quite amazed I was alive. But my life thread was truly in the hands of a few people who watched over me on the side of a road. Perfect strangers. Because of perfect strangers on the road, I am now here. Each of these people were links in my life's chain, each doing their part to keep me here. Colleen, Alan, Erica, Mike, Hans, and Pete, all are known as our heroes. If you think about it, none of them had to stop. Colleen, Alan, and Erica could have thought, hey, let somebody else deal with this. I'm off duty. There's probably nothing I can do anyway. But that's not what they did. They stopped. They made a point to rescue somebody who by all accounts was already dead. What compelled them to do it? At the risk of sentimentalizing, oh heck, so what if I am? It had something to do with heart, that same organ that had suddenly gone awry on me, blocking my blood, that life juice from flowing. And the firemen, Mike, Hans, and Pete, what if they were slow to arrive or rusty with their skill or hadn't maintained their equipment properly? They were professionals operating at the top of their game and executing their training perfectly. They too had a heart to help, or they wouldn't have become firemen. These 6 people possessed the heart that gave them the mysterious urge to help another human being without any thought for their own personal safety and well-being. By endowing me, a mere stranger, with their expert care, they made my life, and by extension, each of their lives, more valuable. I am immensely grateful. In calling forth Tennessee Williams' words, I am thrilled to depend on the kindness of strangers. May you all be so lucky to receive a stranger's help when you need it most, or better still, to be a kind stranger to someone else who needs you. I can think of no greater honor. So thank you, perfect strangers. You've made all the difference, and you are strangers no more. You have made lifelong friends of me and my family.